Cool.
So if you go to Facebook, your camera will be off.
Cool.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our farm tour this morning. We're excited to have you join us at Milk Means More. We've got a fun few minutes planned for us this morning. We're going to go to Horning Dairy Farm in Southeast Michigan. We're going to get started here in a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, we encourage you to think of questions. Let us know, what do you want to hear the dairy farmers talk about? A couple other things, if you are in Zoom, if you're a teacher, if you're a classroom, if you're an organization and you're joining us via the Zoom link, you can see some closed captions. We've got someone who's going to be sharing some fun facts. So you have to click the closed caption button on the bottom of your screen in order to see those. And those should be popping up. So again, at the bar on the bottom of Zoom, you should see a closed caption button that all you have to do is click. So again, we've got folks joining us on Zoom. We've got folks joining us from Facebook Live. We've got folks joining us from the Milk Means More website. And we are really excited to have you. So again, welcome everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started. We are Milk Means More. We work on behalf of Michigan's dairy farm families, and we're so excited to have you join us today. We know we can't take everybody on a dairy farm tour, although I would personally love that. As a dairy farm family myself, we would love to bring everybody out to a farm, but we just can't right now. So we are going to bring it to you virtually. And I'm so excited to welcome Caitlin and Mason. They're from Horning Farms in Southeast Michigan, and it looks like a gorgeous day down on the farm this morning. So good morning. Can you guys share a little bit about your farm with us?
My sister Caitlin, and we are happy to share our farm with you today on a virtual tour.
So our farm is actually very old. It was founded by our great grandparents. So Mason and I are part of the 6th generation. And on our farm, we have all ages of animals and everything from little baby calves up to adult cows that make milk.
That's awesome. 6 generations. That's a lot of people who have worked with dairy cows in your family. That's amazing. And right now we've got some footage where we're showing an aerial view of your farm from a couple years ago, and we're going to talk more about each of those different areas on the farm. So again, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining Caitlin and Mason today. We've got 30 minutes planned with you today. We're going to answer a lot of your questions. Those of you joining on Facebook, feel free to enter your questions in the chat function. We're going to try to get to as many as we can. If we don't, we'll follow up with you. And we also have a frequently asked questions document on our Facebook, or on our website, on milkmeansmore.org. So teachers and parents, I encourage you to pull that up after the tour. We also have some scavenger hunts and some other documents that will help you play along with us as we visit the farm today. And again, if you're on Zoom, hit the closed caption button down at the bottom of the screen so you can see some fun dairy facts that we are going to be sharing with you throughout the morning. So we're going to head over to Mason, Farmer Mason. Can you tell us about the habitat that you've created for those calves, those cute calves? Oops, we need to unmute Farmer Mason. All right, we are.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead, Mason.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. So I am with one of our calves here that we have on the farm, and like Jolene said, we try and create a safe habitat for this calf. So this calf is actually individually housed in its own what we call hutch. It has fresh, clean bedding inside the hutch, has a way to get away from the rain, the wind, and different elements and stay out of the sun throughout the day. We do provide it fresh grain and water throughout the day. Two times a day we do feed it milk, and as the calf grows older, we feed it more and more milk to help it grow big and strong. So this calf is actually housed separately from its mother for various reasons. This calf, just for safety and also to make sure we can individually monitor this calf and make sure that it is eating the correct amount of feed every day and making sure that it is growing up to be nice and healthy.
She's adorable. It looks like she's enjoying this weather as well.
Yes.
Mason, what does she have in her ears? What are those yellow things?
So in her ears, you can see there's big numbers, 5, 1, 2, 6. Those numbers are unique to that calf. That way we can track all of our animals through the farm from birth throughout their whole life. So, and then this button here, you can see a little white one. That also helps us track her when she's older. That is very unique to her also.
Okay. So they're kind of like our social security numbers. We keep those throughout our lives,
Yes.
just like the cows keep their numbers. Okay, great. What else do you do to help care for the calves? Do you give them vaccinations, or what are some other things you do to keep them healthy and help them grow?
Yes, on the farm we do vaccinate our calves for various diseases. That way we can make sure that they stay safe throughout their life.
Great. And so we're showing a couple of other calves here. We've seen the one that you're with, and we see some others. They're out enjoying the sunshine. We've got some peeking their heads out at us. It looks like each one of them is different. Is that the case? Is every animal different, and why? Yes.
Yep. Each animal has its own unique pattern of spots and different color variations. And they also do have their own very different personalities. It's very funny to watch them grow up, and you can see see the difference between them. You can tell.
Kind of like each one of us is different, right? We all have our different personalities. We're all unique. We all have different color hair, different color eyes. That's great.
Yep.
Mason, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as a calf gets older, you can see here we do have group housing. So there's 5 calves in this pen. This is kind of like they're starting school. They're going to kindergarten. They're starting to make their friends and growing up and getting a little older. So.
Oh, that's great. So then they get to hang out with others and get used to being together like we do when we go to kindergarten. That's great.
Yes.
And so what are these calves eating in this pen?
So these calves, they have a grain just like the other calves, but this is specially formulated to them. We have somebody that helps us to make sure that since these calves are a little older, they might have different needs than the younger calves. So throughout their age, they will change their diet, just kind of like us, that some things a baby would eat, but a teenager wouldn't, and an adult wouldn't eat the same thing. So
that's another thing that you're doing, is watching and making sure they get all of the nutrients that they need at every stage of life. And we're going to hear more from Caitlin. We'll go to Caitlin now in the freestyle barn, or the cow barn, and she's going to talk to us about the adult cows. So Caitlin, you've made your way over to the barn, and I see some cows behind you. Can you tell us where you're at and the habitat that you've created for the adult cows?
Yeah, so I am standing in our cow barn. This is where our adult cows live, the ones that actually produce the milk. And for cows, as a farmer, we actually control the environment for the cows. We want to keep them happy and comfortable at all times. So we keep our animals in a barn, and that way we can protect them from the hot summer sun and the cold and the snow in the winter. Our barns are also specially designed just for cows to keep them comfortable. They have, you can see the cows behind me, they're eating right now. They have food in front of them all day. They have water available all day. They have areas to lay down, and our cows actually lay on sand. And so it's like they're hanging out on the beach. They can lay on the sand. And also our barns, they have what's called curtain sides. So you can see right now the sides are pretty open of the barn. You can see there is a picture of the of the cows laying on the sand. So in the warmer weather, we keep the sides of the barn open so the nice breeze can come through. And then as the weather gets colder, we'll put those down to keep the cold, frigid wind out. Also in the summer, we have fans that can run to help keep the cows nice and cool. So our cows will actually eat what's kind of like a cow casserole. It's all these ingredients that are all just mixed together. And so every single bite that that cow takes is a balanced diet. We want to make sure that our cows are nice and happy and healthy. And the two biggest ingredients in that cow casserole is corn and hay. And what's cool about the corn that the cows are eating, it's actually the whole corn plant chopped up. It's the stalk, it's the cob, it's the ear, kernels, leaves, everything is chopped up into little pieces, and that's what the cows are actually eating.
You've covered a lot there, Caitlin. A couple things I want to go back over, and then we do want to see the food, but you've done a lot to create a shelter, a safe place for these cows to live. So I heard you talk about, the roofs over their head and the curtains that can come down when we get some bad weather, which probably in a couple months we're going to start getting wind and snow. You've done a lot of research on what they should lay on, and you have every need met for these cows. So one of the things that you mentioned is what they eat. So could you show us, could you get a handful and show us
Yes.
some of those things?
Okay, so you can see their food here.
Yes.
And right there in my hand is their food. So this is what they're eating, and they love this. It's a whole, and like I said, every single bite is a balanced diet. We don't let them pick out the veggies and the things that they don't like. We make them eat all of it because it's really good for them.
So how do you determine what they eat? Do you work with any professionals or experts to help you create that meal for them?
Yes, definitely. So on our farm, we work with lots of people to make sure, lots of experts to make sure we got everything on the right track for our animals. And one of those experts is a nutritionist. So we actually hire somebody specifically to make sure that we're meeting all the nutritional needs of our animals and they are eating a nice balanced diet.
Great. What other experts do you work with on your farm?
There's a lot of them. One of the other ones we work with most frequently is our veterinarian. Both we're trying to prevent any animals from getting sick, and if any animals do get sick, our veterinarian helps us with that. Also, truck drivers, electricians, plumbers, all kinds of people help us keep the farm running.
It sounds like it takes a whole team to care for these cows.
Oh, definitely.
So, Caitlin, we've got a couple of questions that have come through. The first one, how many animals do you have on your farm?
So on our farm, we actually milk about 390 cows. And that's just the adults, because only the adults are producing milk. And so we also, I mentioned earlier, we have all ages. So we have babies on up through adulthood. So all the younger ones that are not yet producing milk, we have about 390 of those also. So there's quite a few animals around here, and they keep us pretty busy to take care of them.
It sounds like they do keep you really busy. Another question that we just received through Facebook is, how often do they eat? It looks like you've got a few up eating right now. We can see them up close and personal.
Yes. So cows actually have lots of little meals throughout the day. So they might eat 10 or 12 times. They'll come up and they'll eat some, and then we like to see them laying down most of their day. So they eat lots of little meals throughout the day.
Oh,
But
interesting.
we make sure that they have food available all the time.
Okay, that's great. We do have a question from Miss Sargent's kindergarten class. How do you know if your cows are happy?
I like to see all the cows nice and relaxed. And like I said, laying down is a really good indicator that they're happy. So when they're laying down, they're really comfortable and they're not stressed out. When they're actually, when cows moo a lot is an indicator that they're kind of stressed out or wondering what's going on. Or so when you can, right in here in the barn, it's really quiet and calm, and then that I know that the cows are nice and happy.
Yeah, they do. They look like they're just enjoying this beautiful fall day, just kind of hanging out. They're on camera. Lindsay on Facebook wants to know if you have any other animals. Do you have just cows on your farm, or do you have any other animals?
We do. We just have cows on our farm. We have 2 dogs, but just cows otherwise.
Okay, sounds like they keep you busy.
Yes.
So here's a question that we got from Miss Henry's class. Can the cows run as big as they are, and with their big udder? Can they run?
Yes, they can run. They don't usually, but occasionally you'll see them run. If something spooks them or something like that, they'll run, but they don't do it very often.
And it sounds like you don't want them to.
No, definitely not. Because like I said, if something scares them, I don't want them to be scared. I want them to be nice and calm and happy.
Yeah. Mrs. Rue's class wants to know, how many stomachs does a cow have?
That's a great question. A cow actually has 4 compartments to her stomach, and that's what makes her able to eat all of the amazing things that she does. Like I talked about earlier, she's eating that whole corn plant with the stalk and the leaves and all the things that we couldn't. It's because she has those 4 stomach compartments that can let her eat all those great things that that we can't.
So we like to call cows upcyclers because
Yes.
they can eat, like you said, they eat that whole stalk. We just eat the kernels from that corn, but they can eat that stalk and those leaves and that plant. And then, like you said, they can eat other things that we can't, and then they turn it into milk, which is great. We have 2 questions, one from Miriam and one from Mrs. Merritt's kindergarten class. They want to know, what do cows drink and how much do they drink?
Yeah, a cow will drink water, and they'll actually drink enough water to fill a bathtub every day. So that's about 40 gallons of water. They drink a lot of water.
They do. Sounds like they do. And then I know in the background here, I can see it really quickly, but you've got some fans that turn on as well. So we've got some questions about, how do we keep cows cool in the summertime?
Yeah, we do have, this barn is filled with fans to keep our cows cool, because cows, they actually much prefer a cooler day like today that's about 40 degrees than an 80-degree day. So the fans will turn on. They're all actually automatic. So when the temperature reaches a certain level, they just turn on. We also have sprinklers that they can walk through when they're leaving our milking parlor. So a couple times a day, they can walk through those sprinklers and get cooled off too.
That sounds like fun. And now we have a question about you and how you guys handle some of the weather. So Miss Dill's class wants to know, how do you keep warm in the wintertime? Talking about, like, it's October, it's going to start turning cold. How do you guys keep yourselves warm, and how do you keep your cows warm?
So for myself, I wear a lot of layers. You can even see today, I mentioned it's a little cooler, and I've got my sweatshirt and my jacket, and I've got a lot of layers on. So lots and lots of layers to keep myself warm, because we got to take care of our cows in any weather. So when it's an extremely cold day, we still got to be here helping to take care of the cows. And to touch on the cow side of things, the cows actually prefer the cooler temperatures, and we can close up the barn here and keep all any cold wind out, and that actually helps to keep the barn pretty warm enough for the cows. The cows are pretty comfortable. I mean, even at a 0-degree temperature, they're okay as long as they can stay out of the wind. That's plenty fine for them.
Great. One last question, and then we're going to switch to another topic. But we have a question of, do you name all of your cows?
We do not name all of our cows. Some of them have names, but I'm not creative enough to come up with that many names. So that's what Mason talked about, their unique identification number.
Mhm.
So that's mostly how we keep track of them, because naming that many animals would be really hard.
It's a lot. That's a lot of names to
Yes.
come up with. Yes. So thank you, Caitlin, for showing us where the cows live and where you care for them. We've had a lot of questions asking, how do we collect the milk? How does the milk get from those cows that you're talking about to us? So the Horning family, they milk their cows at 4 a.m., 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. And since we can't be at the farm during those times, I hope all of you were sleeping at 4 a.m. We actually came out to the farm a couple weeks ago and collected a video. So Caitlin in the video is going to show us how the cows are milked and then where the milk goes after that's milked. So we'll play the video now and come back and answer questions.
So here we are in our milking parlor today. So I'm going to show you how we actually milk our cows. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure the cow's udder is nice and clean and sanitized. So I'm going to wipe away any maybe loose sand or anything that might be on her udder. And then I use this solution here that will help to disinfect her udder. And I'm rubbing that in with my other hand. I take a little squirt out of each of her teeth. And her milk looks good to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is wipe her nice and clean with a rag. So I have a clean rag here, and I'm going to wipe off any of that dip that I put on her teeth. Our teeth are all clean and we're ready to put on the milking machine. So right here I'm going to put it on and then I'll put it on the teeth. And there now you can see the milk is flowing. So each cow takes about 5 to 7 minutes to milk out. So it's a pretty quick process. The milk will flow from here and it'll flow through stainless steel pipes into a holding tank in the other room. You just left the milking area and you saw all the milk was leaving there in the stainless steel pipes, and this is where it goes. It goes into our bulk tank, which it stores all of the milk. And it holds 7,000 gallons of milk, so that's a lot of milk. And it'll stay here until it gets picked up in the morning, and our milk gets picked up every day. And it gets taken to the Kroger plant in Livonia, where you can find it in all kinds of dairy products in Kroger stores all across the state.
We had a couple questions come through about the milking process. So we'll ask you a few more, Caitlin, before we go back to Mason. So one of the questions was, how old does a cow have to be before she gives milk for the first time?
That's a great question. So a cow is actually about 2 years old when she has her first calf, and that's when she'll actually start producing milk. So when they're 2 years old, they're actually just about their adult size. So cows grow up really fast.
Yeah. We also had a question asking, how much milk does a cow give a day, a month, and a year? So we're going to throw some math questions at you.
I guess so. So each of our cows actually makes about 10 gallons of milk every day. So that's quite a bit of milk for each cow. So that would mean about 300 gallons a month, and what is that? 3,650 gallons a year. So lots of milk.
Great.
Yep, our cows are awesome.
Great way to use your math skills on this spot, Caitlin. But
yes,
they are. They're producing a lot of good, high quality milk. And then final question for you. You talked about milk going to the Kroger plant, and it stays here. It stays local in Michigan. So when the milkman comes and picks up your milk, how soon is it getting to us at that Kroger store that we can buy your milk?
It's actually very fast. It's about 48 hours, 2 days. It's only 2 days from when the milk leaves our farm to when you see it in the grocery store.
Wow, that's super fast, very fast. Well, let's go to Mason now. Mason, you have found your way over to some large equipment. Can you tell us where you're at and explain what's near you?
Yes, so right now I am actually standing next to our tractor. So this piece of equipment is what is responsible for making the cow casserole that Caitlin talked about. So this cow casserole has many ingredients in it, many of which is what we grow here right on the farm. The two biggest ingredients would be what Caitlin had talked about, the corn and the hay. We do have the part of harvest hay.
Oh, Mason, you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you can step away from the barn for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like we can hear you now. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have a video of us partially or part of the process of harvesting the hay. This is, is he going to it?
Yeah,
There.
we'll pull that up.
Okay, yep. So this is part of when we're storing it. So we have a machine that's in the field that actually chops it up into little bits. That's what mixes into the cow casserole. And here you can see that the tractor is pushing up the feed to put it into storage.
That's a lot of feed right there.
Yes.
So again, how many pounds of feed do cows eat a day?
So they can eat around 100 pounds of feed a day. That's probably more than some of you guys weigh. So,
yes. And how big are cows? Just to put it in context.
Yeah. So a cow, an adult cow weighs around 1,400 pounds. So quite a bit.
Okay. Yes, quite a bit. So we
Yeah.
have about 3 minutes left. That time went really fast, and we've got some more questions that we want to ask you. And for those of you on the line, we know that some of you have to jump right off at 10:30. So feel free to come back and watch the ending of this, or visit our website, milkmeansmore.org, to finish watching, to find links to more virtual farm tours, resources, and recipes as well. So a couple questions. This was a really good question. So what is the best part of dairy farming, and what is the hardest part of dairy farming for you and your family?
I don't know. That's a very difficult question. I enjoy a lot of it. It's very fun to wake up every day and to know that I am part of producing the safe and wholesome milk that you guys drink. It's not really a job for me. It's a way of my life that I've just been growing up and doing it. I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. As far as the hardest part, I don't know. There is some times that it can be difficult to work through some things, working with family, but I enjoy it for the most part. So
That's awesome. And we did have 2 teachers give you shout outs from the Klager schools.
yeah.
So they are watching. It sounds like they're in your hometown.
Yes.
And they said that they are so proud of you and your families and what you do for the community. So I thought that was really cool that they were able to join us. So thank you to Klager Schools. And
Yeah.
we had a question from someone also close to you, wanting to know if you guys had any calves today.
We actually have had 4 calves today. It's not very common, but we had 2 sets of twins. So
oh my goodness.
That's 4 calves. Yeah.
So how often do cows have twins? Is that common?
No, it's not very common at all. I don't know a percentage wise, but yeah, it's not a common occurrence for 2 of them to happen the same day. That's pretty rare.
That is very rare. So it sounds like you've got
Yes.
some more mouths to feed this afternoon when you go back to the source.
Yes, we do.
Yes. Well, Caitlin and Mason, thank you so much for joining us today. Everybody on Facebook and Zoom, thank you so much. We're at the 10:30 mark. We appreciate you joining. Let's give a round of applause for Caitlin and Mason and the cows. Thank you for welcoming us to your farm today. We know that there are a lot of questions that we weren't able to get to, and as we said, we'll try to follow up with as many as we can. We also have a frequently asked questions document on our website, milkmeansmore.org. So encourage you to go check that out. And we want to let the adults know, the teachers know that we are hosting 2 more virtual farm tours. So on October 13th and October 15th, and those are geared towards students of higher ages. So 3 through 5 and then 6 through 12. And that last one is going to focus on careers in dairy. So we're really excited to welcome you onto more Michigan dairy farms, and we're always here to answer your questions. We appreciate you supporting dairy by purchasing milk, cheese, and yogurt, and visit our website for more information, milkmeansmore.org. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate your time today, and have a good rest of the day. We also have, for those of you still on, we also have a survey for those of you in Zoom. So feel free to complete that. Let us know, give us some feedback. And again, we appreciate you joining us today.